Duke, I'm gonna need you to calm down and not bark for at least an hour. Hello my fellow bats, I am so glad that I'm finally getting to this video, and I apologize for taking so long between finishing the book and filming this, but life is crazy and I decided, well, I'm just gonna have to make it happen because I'm never gonna have time for anything, so I'll just make it happen. This particular edition that I read is very old. I actually checked it out from the library, and I kind of regret doing it just because like the next day the spine, like that's how old and used this book is, the spine actually came off, and I didn't have any glue at the time, and I still haven't been able to find appropriate glue. So for now it is like this, and I kind of regret using tape because the threading is like stuck to it. Anyways, so this thing is quite old. You open it up, and I mean, that's why I got it though, is because it's just gorgeous. Y'all see this? Okay, any book, and they had like different editions and versions, of course, but like, of course I'm gonna grab this one. So I am going to assume that all of you have seen the movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame that Disney made, and I do love that movie. I love it so much. That remains to this day my favorite, or at least one of my favorite Disney movies since I was little. That being said, it is quite off in many ways from the book, of course, because it is Disney. So I mean, it makes sense that certain things that they changed, why they changed those things, because it is Disney, it is for children. So I'm not going to give the general synopsis of what happens, because that's not what a review is for. If you want a synopsis, you can just Google it. This is a review, not a retelling of it. So I hate it when people do that, when they like review it, but really they're just telling you what happened. Anyways, so I'm going to assume that all of you have seen the movie, and even if you haven't read the book, I will just go over some of the differences between the book and the movie. I will, of course, go over certain things that I loved and hated about the book, since this is a review. So I don't even know where to start because this book is just amazing. I guess I'll start with the characters, since that's a little easier. Okay, first of all, I don't even know which character to start with. Okay, Quasimodo. In the book he is deaf, in the movie he is not. And in the book he is much uglier than he looks in the movie, obviously, because that's in the animated movie, just probably because it is just Disney. I haven't seen I know there's another film adaptation, a live action one. I think I've never seen it. I probably should. I'm sorry. I should have watched that before I started this, but I will watch it now after. In terms of how he views Claude Frollo, and their relationship, he's submissive, but in more of a out of gratitude. Like, it's legit just gratitude. Whereas in the movie, there is gratitude there, but it's mostly he's mostly submissive just because of Frollo's dominance and power, if that makes sense. Words. Esmeralda, in the book, she is 16. Now they don't, at least I don't think they specify her age in the Disney animation. but she definitely acts and looks older than 16 in the animation, so we are going to assume that she is older. In the book, she is only 16. And she is a naive fool, okay? This girl, I can't with her. I do not like her. I can't stand her character in the book. I mean, there are certain things that she does that are cool. Like, okay, I dig that, because you're obviously different from everyone else in that respect, and you have mercy, and you actually care to a degree. She gives Quasimodo some water to drink when he is up on the pulpit thing. I can't remember what that's called, which is like completely different from how it is in the movie. Anyways, yeah, she gives him water to drink, and for some reason that just, well, I guess that makes sense, but from that point on, Quasimodo is like her slave practically. Well, not her slave, he's like forever indebted to her, and he's so dedicated to her even though she doesn't really know or understand that. And she saves her husband's life. It's this whole thing. They're husband and wife for like 4 years. It's this poet guy who is also a fool. Like, okay, before I go on, I'm gonna say spoiler alerts, because yeah, there's one point in the end of the book where he has to choose between saving the goat, her goat, or saving Esmeralda herself. This fool chooses the goat, okay? I'm like, wow, I could not live back then, because I wouldn't have any friends. I would either die or just be like, I'd have to move or something, because these people are just freaking heartless idiots. Like, there isn't a single good person in this book except Quasimodo. Okay, if the blanket or curtain moves, it's just because of my dog. So what was I saying? Oh, I was talking about how I couldn't live then, which is totally true. Like, those people are just, everyone is just mean and like, ugh, ugly. I mean, people today are still like that, but it's not as common or acceptable. Anyways, this isn't a social commentary, it is a review. Yeah, Esmeralda is a naive fool, okay? And I'm gonna sort of talk about Phoebus and then bring them together. Phoebus is a fool too. He is nothing like he's portrayed in the movie, except maybe the blonde hair and the, you know, gallant man on a horse thing. He's a fool too. He's lustful. He tells Esmeralda lies just to try to get her to sleep with him, and he's very selfish, like almost everyone in this book. Pretty much everyone in this book except for Quasimodo. And sometimes Esmeralda, but yeah, it's a hot mess, y'all. It's a hot mess. This fool, Esmeralda, thinks that she's in love with Phoebus after seeing him that one time, just because he saved her from getting like kidnapped or whatever. It was Frollo and Quasimodo. They tried grabbing her and taking her away, but Phoebus showed up and all that, so suddenly she's in love. And, fool, you don't even know him, okay? And second of all, Phoebus is engaged or arranged to be married with some fool named Fleur-de-Lis. She's so stupid. She almost got away. Like, spoiler alert. Like, huge spoiler alert. She ends up getting hanged in the end because she's a fool. Because she's an idiot. Because she can't, like, get it through to her head that Phoebus is a douche, okay? Like, I'm like, which is why, like, and I mean, I love it when books make me feel a lot. I felt a lot, if you can't tell about this. I had to put the book down a few times. My coworker can attest to this. Because I just couldn't handle certain things. I was like, this fool is getting herself killed. Because they chased her, they found out they were when they found out where she'd been hiding, they were about to leave. And it's so cruel too. But then Phoebus says something or whatever. He's like, I gotta go back. And he goes away. Esmeralda, like a fool, she's like, Phoebus, my love, Phoebus, come save me, help me, whatever. And she throws herself out there. They were about to leave her. They were about to leave, like, okay, we'll go look for her somewhere else because they were looking for her, trying to kill her. But once she hears Phoebus's voice, she pops out and says, Phoebus, save me, whatever. I'm like, fool. You almost got away. You just threw yourself out in front of all these people who were trying to kill you just because you heard the voice of Phoebus. He wasn't even there by the time she went out and said that. I'm like, you idiot. You just killed yourself after your own mother went through all that to save you. By the way, Esmeralda finds her mom. And I suspected it was her, but at the same time, I was like, nah, because she's white and Esmeralda isn't. But I guess skin color isn't a thing unless Egyptians, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, and Frollo, I mean, I loved him in the movie, but in the book, he's much more human than in the movie. Like, I know he's the villain in the movie, but in the book, everyone's kind of a villain, and Frollo is actually very intelligent. He grew up going to school. He was all about school. He loved it. He loved learning. Very, academic, studious. And he eventually reached a point where he learned all that could be learned, and so he started dabbling in alchemy and things like that. Trying to make gold from light and all this stuff. Yeah, but he's a very learned man, and he's very emotional, even though he comes across as stoic, and to a degree he is, but when it comes to certain things, he's very emotional. He took in Quasimodo when he was 16, 19, something like that, and took care of him for like 20 years. Did the same with his brother because his parents died when he was 16 or 19. And he loved his brother dearly. Him and his brother are opposites, and you don't hear of a brother in the movie, but he does have a brother, idiot brother. Anyways, yeah, but he's much more, there's much more to him than just an old creepy priest who is infatuated with this woman in a creepy way. It's kind of, I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I kind of, and he confuses love with infatuation and lust. I mean, he knows what it is because he says over and over, perdition, impurity. And so, but he thinks he loves her. I don't think he loves her. I think he's just in love with the idea of her, which is why fantasizing is not good, because it sets standards and an idea in your mind of what to expect, and so you go into something expecting this, and then when you don't get it, it's a hot mess. Anyways, so yeah, I like him in both the book and the animated film. Anyways, yeah, in terms of how it's written and stuff, I gotta be honest, the beginning, like, first 2-ish chapters for me were just a bit difficult for me to get through, because I don't care about frickin' Archdeacon and how to say their names properly, and I don't care about that. I want to get to the good stuff. There were a few paragraphs that I did skip because it was just kind of it was dry. It was about stuff that I didn't care about. Yeah, I feel like it was just fluff thrown in there just to fill in some gaps or something. He can get very redundant, and I didn't like that. But there are certain, okay, I marked certain things that he wrote that I thought were just beautiful. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you've heard or read or seen them already. Because they just, there's some gems in here, y'all, like some quotable gems. Okay, near the beginning, when Quasimodo first appears and people are talking about him and stuff, he kind of only has one eye. I mean, he has two, but it's covered by that lump or whatever. Anyways, and so they're talking about him, and he was like, and they're like, he has one eye too much. And then another person is like, not so. A one-eyed man is more incomplete than one who is quite blind. What? A one-eyed man is more incomplete than one who is quite blind. That can be real deep. I mean, I know the person who said that was Claude Frollo's younger brother. So he could have meant it in a different way, but that could be so deep, like. And then towards the back, he's so tortured by his beliefs and what he feels and what he wants and what he knows he should do, and I think that's very real. I think people don't like to talk about it that much. They just compromise, and which isn't okay. Don't compromise. But yeah, so he's just, it's kind of like an inner struggle for him, and I love this so much. I love it so much because I was like, OMG, this is me. Okay, hold up. He's just sort of talking to himself in his little office corner place, where he spends like all his time. He says, oh, how hollow science sounds when you dash against it in despair, a head filled with passions. That's how I feel. Being in engineering school, being an engineering student, I realize I am so much more creative and passionate and emotional than this. Like, how hollow science sounds when you dash against it in despair, a head filled with passions. Oh my gosh, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna cry. And then, oh, I just marked it just because I thought it was nice. He's like, you know how like in the movie he's like, choose me or the fire? No. Choose me or the fire. Da, da, da. This is, he says it, I mean, several times because they see each other more than just that one time. But in this case, he says, then stooping as the spectators imagined to receive her last confession, he whispered, wilt thou be mine? I can even yet save thee. I was like, ooh. To be honest, I don't know what I would have done if I was in her situation. I don't know. I'd have to be in it to know what I'd do. It would have to happen for me. Because I could see myself doing either thing. Like, I could see myself, I could see why I would choose him, but I could also see myself not, like, choosing to die rather than be with him. It's just, And also, it wasn't just that he wanted to have her, okay? He had, in his mind, this whole thing, like, set up, like, they were gonna, like, leave, like, run away, just live, I don't know, on a farm or something like that, just do their own thing. And I'm like, you can't do that. I have to hurry up because this video is getting very long. I do recommend this book. You should totally read it. You might have to skip some parts because they're redundant and dry and boring. Also, he does a fabulous job of describing the cathedral, Notre Dame. It's amazing. Yeah, I think that's it. This video is already so long and I'm sorry. But yeah, I love you guys, and I hope this was helpful. I hope it helped you decide. So yeah, I will see you in the next one.